Hi, I'm Tyson with Adventure Rig, and I've recently installed the Quick Flip Mirror Mount Aero Kit from Rottweiler Performance on my KTM 890 adventure bike. To me, this gives it a nice clean look and really tightens everything up in the cockpit area of this bike. In the past, I've had highway dirt bikes, handguards, and those came with their own mirrors that are similar to these. However, I couldn't see anything out of those mirrors. I finally crashed one day, bent the mirror, and so on the right side of the bike, I was actually able to see a little bit behind that one, but my left one was still useless. So I wasn't sure what to think when I got these. However, after mounting them and playing with them, there's so many different positions that this mirror can be set in and turned numerous different ways that I can easily find a position where I can clearly see behind the entire bike, and I can angle it where I can almost see anything that's sitting right here because I can get that mirror angled so tightly. I have these mounted on the Cycra Ultra CRM Pro Bend handguards, and they aren't necessarily made to be mounted on these. I mean, I think you can mount it on anything that will accept it, and you can drill through it and it'll mount and whatever, but Rottweiler really designed these to be mounted on the stock plastic handguards that come on a KTM adventure bike. However, I would break those handguards on the first fall that I had, so I wanted to get rid of those and get something that was a little more stout. Rottweiler sends a paper template that you will place on the outside of your handguard where you're going to drill your holes. I was a little unsure of how to actually mount these on the Cycras, but after removing this plastic side piece, you can see that there is a channel that runs along the black handguard itself. And in that channel, there's a raised piece. What I did is take the paper template that they sent, and I made it so that the hole was right next to that raised piece in the handguard, but recessed in the channel. And that made it so that I could still flip the mirror in and out, and I have just a little bit of clearance from the plastic handguard and the mirror itself. So nothing's touching there. The two positions that I found that I ride in all the time are if I'm on the road, it's this position right here. The mirrors are flipped out. This is where I have excellent visibility. Now, if I go off-road and I'm like, there's probably a chance that I may tip the bike here, I'm gonna rotate this in and I put it just like that. The one thing that I'll say about this being mounted on the Cycras is that that's about the only position that I can personally find that works for me, so that I can have my hand and fingers on the lever and be able to do everything I need to there without hitting the mirror. Because if I rotate it in just a little bit more, at that position, my fingers will hit the mirror. And so I really have to have it rotated out in this position for it to work properly for myself on the Cycras. Now, I think if you're on the stock handguards, you're not gonna have any issues with moving these all over the place, but because of the bend that's in these Cycras, it just kind of puts the mirror at a different position when it's rolled in. All right, how about the nitty gritty? What is the visibility like out of the mirrors? Since that's the reason we all have mirrors, because we want to see behind us. Well, before I had these mirrors, I had double take mirrors that came off of the handlebars. Callie still has them on her bike. They kind of put the mirrors up in this position, and the mirror itself is a little bit larger than these. Now, those work really well, and I have to say that I had better visibility out of those mirrors, probably because they were just larger in general. However, with these, I have awesome visibility. I can see everything around me from either mirror at any time. However, here's my one gripe over these mirrors versus mirrors that kind of are up here and in your face the whole time. When I'm using these and I'm riding the bike, I physically have to give a look to my left or to my right to be able to see in either of these mirrors. With the stock mirrors or double take mirrors that are more right here in your line of sight, all you really have to do is just move your eyeball right into that mirror and you can see clearly what's behind you, and you don't have to really move your head at all. So that's really my one, I don't know if I would say it's a complaint, because I kind of knew that's how it was gonna go. I can definitely see clearly and I can see everything I need to, but I do have to physically move my head. So Callie was saying with her mirrors, she always kind of knows what's behind her because she always knows what's in her peripheral line of sight without actually having to physically be looking at the mirror. where for me, sometimes I'd have cars sneak up on me in Central America and I didn't even realize it because I just was not looking down in the mirror at that second as the car was passing. With that said, in the end, how would I go about this? So we did this trip to Central America. It was 95% touring on the roads. These were great, and let me tell you, it's a lot different riding in Mexico and Central America than in the States, and there's not a lot of rules, so it was a little bit scary, but I was extremely happy with these, and it wasn't a big deal. But I think where these really shine is if you're going on-road and off-road. In that case, I would choose these any day. I would roll them in if I'm going off-road. If I'm on-road, I'd hang them out. It would be awesome. If I was splitting lanes, again, I could bring them in. Really awesome. If I was doing a touring trip where I was mainly on the road, I do like the double take mirrors or the stock mirrors because I do think that they're just a little bit easier to see out of. But again, I've put over 6,000 miles on these mirrors and I haven't found it to be a huge issue. It's just what you may be looking for. The last thing I want to touch on are the mirrors and the construction themselves. So these are made by CRG and they are expensive. They're $240 from Rottweiler, which obviously is not cheap. However, the part that Rottweiler is producing is just this guy right here that's bolted into the handguard. It gives the mirror a place to connect to because these are really designed to be going off of your bars. So Rottweiler has basically moved them to up here. If you were to purchase these mirrors separately, they're $120 a piece. And if you were to purchase the mount separately from Rottweiler, those are only $40. So that's kind of where the cost is in the mirror itself. These are great though because they're extremely stout. They have ball bearings in them. They have indents so that you can move them into different positions. And if you break the glass, you can easily replace it. So yes, they're expensive, but they're freaking awesome. And sometimes for freaking awesome, you have to pay a little bit more. Again, these are the quick flip aero mirrors from Rottweiler Performance. I really love them on my bike. I think that they do both great on-road as well as off. If you guys have any questions about them or anything for that matter, just leave them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. Also, if you don't already follow us on Facebook and Instagram, be sure to do so at Adventure Rig. If you liked this video and you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up as well as subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tyson with Adventure Rig.